Alrighty, so there's going to be times where you're working individually and there's going to be times where you're working as a group. So the first thing I'm going to say, so there's no confusion moving on, if I go into the courses, and the D license, I look at the assignments. These assignments here are all individual. Okay, so these are formative assignments. You need to do these individually. You will develop the graphics for these individually. You will have group assignments to work on as well. Okay, and those are effectively you guys collaborating and working together to share ideas, to practice so that you get, these are super easy, the individual assignments. You can't develop graphics as a group and then submit it for your individual assignment. It's going to be separate. It's going to be based on your environment and your training sessions. Okay, that's always something that we get asked. Okay, so for the planning tools, I'm going to go into planning and I'm going to go into graphics. And this is what you're going to see with all of your own graphics if you've built them before. Always have this show nested content check marked. Okay, there are some nested content that gets hidden. If you can't find your graphics, it's probably going to be because it's in nested content. To create a new graphic, I'm going to go into this top right-hand corner and click Create New. Add in a title, click on Next, and it will automatically come up with a full 11v11 field. Okay, I can zoom in or out if I'd like to, depending on my eyesight. But the first thing I'm going to do is change the background. All right, because we're working on 9v9, let's say we're working on an attacking session, I'm going to use the up half 9v9. All of our diagrams are going to be north-south. Okay, so anytime you diagram something, your team is defending the bottom of the page, scoring into the top of the page. Your team is always the blue team. That's really important. All right, that's US soccer diagramming standards so that it's universal from all of the courses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the outline of the pitch. In this activity, I'm going to do just a full half field. So all I need to do is place in some goals. So I'm going to click on this cone. I'm going to click on goal. And our attacking team is going to score to 1 goal. Our defending team is going to score to mini goals. So click on the mini goal. I'll put it right on the line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right-hand side and click on this back so it turns around. I'll click again on the field and we're good. If I need to select a goal or move it, for example, this goal is tiny. I don't want that to be there. I can delete it. I'll go back in, select a regular goal, move it to the front, click on the pointer in the top left if I want to move it, and we're good to go. So now I have my field set up. If I wanted to do a smaller field, make it smaller, I'd bring in the cones. So I click on the cone icon, click on the cap. Let's say I want to go the width of the penalty area, place my first cone. Now it's really important here in the size, we want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, typically we go for a 2, not a 21. Just so it's a little bit more noticeable on the diagram. Okay, so goals will stay at size 1, players, cones, everything like that, make it size 2. For players, your team are the blue triangles. To find a player, click on this little circle with arms coming out of it. Click on the triangle. Based on whatever formation you're playing, so your diagram should show your formation. I'm going to be playing a 2-3, so I'm going to play with a holding midfielder. I'm going to make him size 2. I'm going to delete the player number. If you'd like to include player numbers, I'm completely okay with it. Okay, but you don't need to for this course. You can put M for midfielder, you can put F for forward, W for winger. Put player numbers in, that's great. The only time I'm going to call you out on it is if you get the player numbers out of order. Okay, so we are using the US soccer numbering system if you wanted to. Again, it is not a requirement of the course. US soccer numbering system, the 6 is the central defensive midfielder, not the 4 as sometimes in Europe. Okay. All right. And those numbers are based off a 4-3-3 formation. So in this formation, I've got one holding midfielder. I'll click there, one regular midfielder. I'll go a left wing, a forward, and a right winger. Okay. Now I'm going to do the opposition. So the opposition are red circles. And they're going to play against four defenders who are going to play in a 3-1 formation. So I'll click the first one. Still size 2, thankfully. Delete the number from it. Put my formation out there. And now my players are set. I need to put a goalkeeper in as well. So I'm going to put my goalkeeper. Yellow and green are the 2 goalkeeper colors. Yellow I typically use for the opposition. Put them in goal. Oh, mix that one up. Go back to the pointer. And now we have clearly defined it is a 5 versus 5. My attacking team is playing in a 2-3 or a 1-1-3 formation. My defending team is playing in a 3-1 or goalkeeper 3-1 formation. Okay. Now this isn't quite finished yet. I need to include soccer balls. So I'm going to put in as many soccer balls as I think I will have or need for the session, and I'm going to put them in areas that it will be easy for the players to quickly collect and play in the session, just like you would in your session. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show the ball in play, because what I want to do is, based on my topic, I want to diagram my team having success. So I'm going to say that the ball is here with this blue right winger. Now I need to diagram what's going on with the play, right? So to draw a dribble initially, a dribble is a snaked line. So I click on snaked, that is a dribble. And my right winger is going to dribble down the right wing. Player movement, so players without the ball is shown by a dashed line. So we're going to make it super simple here because my topic is scoring goals. I'm going to have my forward make a run to the front post, but it's actually going to be my left winger who's going to make a run into the back post. Dribble is a squiggly line, snake line. Player movement is a dash line. You can make the lines curved if you'd like to. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Passes are a solid line. Okay, so the pass goes across and ends up in the back of the net. If I diagram my blues moving, I need to show the reds moving or reacting, right? What you don't want to do is show a pattern of 12 passes because it's impossible to follow the movement. Just show your team 1 or 2 passes is good, or a dribble and a pass. Show how the defenders might react to it. So my right defender here might go here. This player didn't follow quick enough. This player is getting goal side. Probably made that line too long because they would intercept it, but they ran past the ball, so we got cut back behind them. Okay. Eventually, we'll get to the point where you'll show the movement of all of the players during the pattern. But this is an almost ideal. There's one thing missing from it, which is your coach, and that's you. What we'd like you to do is show yourself in the position that you would be if you were coaching this session. So if I'm coaching an attacking session, I might be on the sideline here, but I would typically wander around the back of the attack so that I can interact individually with each of these players. So as long as you don't put yourself in the middle, you're going to be okay. Stick yourself on the sideline. Again, make yourself a little bigger. 1.5 is fine for the coach. And then we're good. This is a graphic. So this is all you're going to have to do for probably the first month when you're working individually or in your small groups, is put together graphics like this. It is very important I click save and exit. Don't click save in progress and then close. Save and exit, that will save it to the Learning Center. Save in progress, if you close the tab, it loses it. Click save and exit. If you'd like to download the image, this button in the top right corner is where you're going to press. Right, so I'm going to save and exit. Next thing I'm going to do is show you in the planning tool how to create an individual training exercise. So we have our graphic. I'm going to go into my training exercises. And the trick when you're developing your own session plans is to start with the more challenging session, because typically you're only going to take things away from the more challenging to the core to the less. So make your more challenging the first session you design. Right? I'm going to go into this create new. Title, D-license, more challenging, and then the rest is checkbox. This grassroots standard toggle needs to be on the grassroots. That's very important. Okay, for our course, make sure the toggle is on the grassroots. This is going to be a U11-12 session, an attacking session. Our objective is scoring goals. And our predominantly focus is to shoot, and our secondary focus is to pass or dribble forward. Key qualities I'm also going to select. For me, take initiative is going to be the most important. And then I can collect some secondary ones. We might focus on finishing technique today. And then reading and understanding the game is also important. I'm going to click next. All right, organization. This is going to be field size, formations, etc. Right, we'll go into greater depth when we get that. Keywords. We're going to do a lot of focus on the language that we use in and the terminology, but the keywords effectively are prompts that help players to make decisions. It's not telling players what to do. Right? So there's a difference between saying shoot and head up. Because one tells the player what to do, the other is having the player form an action to help them make a decision. When we're using these keywords, we want to help players make decisions, not make them for them. Guided questions, hopefully you're aware of. This is where we'll put them in, the guided questions and the answers. The notes is typically going to be anything additional to the session. So it might be something like rotate players after X amount of reps, or we're going to start with 5 balls from the goalkeeper, but then after we're going to start wherever the ball goes out of play. Graphics, select an existing graphic. And I select my D-license test, click go to graphic, select graphic. Files, we don't need to worry about. Variables, I do. Number of players, this is a 5 versus 5. So I select, and then duration, total duration is here. We'll work on the periodization a little bit as we go along. I click save. Okay. All right. Couple of tricks I'll show you. So we've done our more challenging. Now I'm going to go back into the graphics section. I'm going to copy my D-license test. I'm going to make this core is remove one player from each side, so it's a little bit simpler. So rather than playing 5 versus 4, I'm going to play 4 versus 3 in a 1-3 for the attacking team and a flat 3 for the defending team. That's all I have to do for my diagram. Save and exit. Go back into planning, go to training exercises. I'm going to copy. This one, so I click go to. Oh, that's the wrong one. Because I've got it on the standard toggle, my bad. All right, here is the exercise we just created. I click go to exercise, more actions, copy. All right, here I just change it to core. Most of this is going to stay the same. We're still working on attacking, we're still working on scoring goals. Player actions, key qualities are all the same. Organization is going to change. Keywords will stay the same. Guided questions will change between different parts. So there will be some wording that you have to change in here. I go to the graphics. I delete this graphic or remove it. and now select my core, which is here. Select graphic, go back to variables. Now we're doing 4v4, and it's going to be shorter duration because we've got less players. Click save. The final piece to it is creating a session from all of your exercises. So let's start with the graphics, then we do the exercises. Final piece is the sessions. Create new. Again, we go through the title, age group, select all this. Actions, key quantities, etc. Click next. Variables, number of players. So this is the total number of players in your session. So we've got 10. Total session duration, 75 minutes. And then here I would select the exercises. So I'd select an existing exercise. Again, my toggle is on standard. I need to change it to grassroots. And would add them in order. So I'd go to exercise, select exercise on my core, select the other one. Go to exercise, select my more challenging. Save and exit. Can't stress this highly enough. Save and exit, don't save in progress. Now under planning, I go to grassroots and I have my test session there. Okay. Once we've got a session, we can copy, we can export to PDF, we can share. Okay, and this is what you're going to do. For example, if I go to courses, I'll share it within the course. Share here. I can select my D license and I could select share with a whole group and click share. What we'll do is I'll set up specific chat groups for just the people in the Wednesday morning group. So when we get to working on these group sessions, you'll share just your graphics, then just your training exercises, then your full session with just our group.